So the title of this video is, Are you seeking Christ for your own personal gain? And the reason why I really believe that this message is important is because I think it's especially relevant to many young adults in our generation, like around my age, and not just, young adults, but like me personally, first and foremost. So there's many times we want to follow Christ because it personally benefits ourselves, because in some way our life gets better for whatever reason, and because of that, that's our motivation for pursuing Christ. That's our motivation for seeking God, or like reading our Bible, or doing any sort of spiritual discipline, or fleeing temptation, not giving in, whatever. Our motivation is ultimately self-centered because it makes us feel good, and maybe we want to make ourselves look more spiritual towards other Christians. If we grow up in a church environment, maybe we want to make ourselves look more spiritual for whatever reason, because there's that pride inside of us that wants to be liked by people. And I think a lot of times, if people have grown up in the church, they might be more susceptible to that because they know all of the lingo and all of the what the supposed right thing to do is, yet they never really truly understand the motivation behind doing things like serving or going on mission trips, or prayer or fasting or whatever. More of like, it becomes, I'll do it because this is what other people are doing and I'm just going to go along with the flow. But there is no sort of relationship with the true and living God. And that's what God wants. He doesn't want religion, a set of rules. He wants us to have a relationship with Him. I remember there was one time where there was a particular girl that I was interested in, and she was a part of the church, and so I would try to do more spiritual things in front of her because I thought that she would like me more. And I would pretend or whatever. I would try to seek God, or like make myself look all spiritual to impress her, but not actually to impress God. And the end result of that was, it was a net positive, because I grew in a lot of ways through listening to lots of sermons and reading the Bible and having a greater discipline of my life. But at the same time, I realized later on that it was done with completely wrong intentions, and it's pretty convicting. And honestly, I think that this sort of attitude is, I've seen it a lot, not just in my own life, but in other people's lives as well. And I don't want to be the one that calls out people and takes a speck out of their eye when I have a log in my own eye. So really, what I prefer doing is talking about investigating myself and inspecting myself before I call out someone else. So that's just one example. And a lot of times, growing up, I would try to make myself look spiritual because I got some sort of reward, or I would try to do some sort of spiritual discipline because it benefited me in some way, whether it be pride or some sort of compensation or some sort of recognition. that was my God. That was my motivation. It was really just myself and my own selfish ambition. And that was wrong. And I think that if we really inspect ourselves and got ourselves in check, and really understood, we would come to the conclusion that there's nothing that we really need to prove to anyone. God, He is not impressed by all of the amazing works that we do, because none of the works that we can do compares to the work that Christ did on the cross for us, suffering crucifixion on our behalf so that we can be made the righteousness of God.